So I am a really big fan of Daredevil, especially the Netflix TV series that is Daredevil. So last year, when they announced that Daredevil was coming back in Daredevil Born Again, I was over the moon with joy that this series was coming back. And the fact that it was going to be the same cast from the Netflix series gave me even more excitement. But then when they announced that it was going to be somewhat of a season 4, it was going to continue on and tie up all the loose ends from season 3 and build a whole new story. It was a dream come true. Charlie Cox is back as Daredevil, the best Daredevil. We have everybody from the original cast back. We have some new added characters in. We got some loose ends tied up. And I am stoked for this show. But today they did drop episode 1 and episode 2 on Disney Plus. And after watching these 2 episodes, I'm a little disappointed. I'm going to be completely honest. This didn't live up to the hype that I thought it was going to. But there was a lot of movements, a lot of story in these episodes that have got me very intrigued to see where they go in the future episodes. There's going to be 9 episodes for this series. Next week they're dropping episode 3. I'm not sure if they announced it anywhere of how long each episode will be, but episode 1 was about just over an hour and episode 2 was about 49 minutes. So I'm going to guess each and every episode will be somewhere between there. I think that's a good spot for it to be at. For those who want to watch this show, I suggest pausing this video, come back to it, go watch those, come back and let's have a discussion. I'm going to 100% get into some spoilers here. I'm not going to go through every little nook and cranny in each episode, but I will be talking about a lot of things. So let's get into it. Episode 1 starts off with our 3 main characters back together. Long last, Foggy Nelson, Matt Murdock and Karen Page all back together, all original cast. I was so happy to see them, but this happiness did not last very long because Foggy gets a phone call. It's a booby trap. Matt runs off as Daredevil to go help a client in need, but it was all a trap for Bullseye, who was a villain in season 3 of the Netflix show and would have been the main villain for season 4, shows up, played by the exact same actor, and shoots Foggy and then shoots a few bystanders, and Daredevil shows back up and a fight ensues. And this is the first fight of this series, and I have to say I was very disappointed. It wasn't as glorious as some of the Netflix fight scenes, but I'll give it a pass because I'm sure we're going to get some pretty killer fight scenes in this series. As they fight all the way to the top of a building, Matt Murdock with his super hearing hears that Foggy Nelson has died, and this enrages him. He then throws Bullseye off the building, seemingly killing him, but we all know that that's not what happens. Bullseye is arrested, and we then do a time skip a year later to the trial date of Bullseye, and he is sentenced to prison. But I don't think he's going to be gone for too long. I think we will see him show up again later on in this series. That is when Wilson Fisk is reintroduced to us. He's been a part of the MCU already. He was in Echo. Daredevil's also been introduced in Echo and She-Hulk. It's the exact same Daredevil, exact same Wilson Fisk, and I'm happy that these two are back together. But this time around, Wilson Fisk doesn't want to be Kingpin anymore. He wants to be mayor. And in episode 1, he starts to run for office. We see that Matt Murdock has hung up the horns. He doesn't want to be Daredevil anymore. Just wants to be Matt Murdock and move on with his life. He promised that he wouldn't be it anymore because it got his best friend killed. Karen Page has moved to San Francisco. She is gone out of this series. I don't know if she will show back up. I hope she does. But for now, she's gone. Matt Murdock has a new love interest. And by the end of episode 1, Matt Murdock is not Daredevil, and Kingpin is elected to be the mayor of New York City, and that is how we end episode 1. Matt Murdock fighting with himself if he wants to be Daredevil again or not. Kingpin has now got the power and will start to do things moving forward. I'm super interested in this plot, this storyline. I'm really keen to see where this goes, and hopefully we get a conclusion to this pretty early on. I'd like to see some conclusion to this in episode 5 or 6 before we even get halfway through this season. Would be ideal for me. His main thing is he wants to get rid of vigilantes from New York. In episode 2, we start that off with him addressing New York and saying that he wants to get rid of it. He mentions the Punisher, he mentions Spider-Man, and he mentions Daredevil specifically. So with those 3 being mentioned, I know that the Punisher does show up in this series later on. I don't know what episode he shows up in. My guess will be episode 6 or 7 later. I don't think he's going to show up right now. I think we still have a few good episodes between Matt Murdock and Fisk that we need to get through some story, and then for the rest of the episode we just follow Fisk as he is trying to overcome a lot of people who have doubted him in office. And what will he do? He actually has a sit-down meeting with Matt Murdock, and Matt Murdock wants to find out what his agenda is, and then Matt Murdock veers off to go defend a cop killer, an accused cop killer, who is also the White Tiger, is being accused of killing a cop. At the start of the episode, he saves a bystander by getting bashed by 2 guys in a New York subway. Turns out that those 2 people who were doing the bashing was undercover cops. One of them accidentally falls and slips onto the train line and gets killed, and the White Tiger is being accused of it. Daredevil, Matt Murdock, has stepped in to be his lawyer. Matt Murdock does find somebody who was there, the guy who was getting beaten up. At the end of the episode, he runs off. Matt Murdock stays. The other 2 cops show up to kill that man, so no one would be there to be a witness to testify. Matt stops them. They end up start hitting and bashing Matt Murdock up, and that's where the Daredevil inside of him starts to come out a bit, and he ends up brutalizing these 2 men, and we end the episode with him becoming Daredevil again. And I think we're going to see a lot more of this going into episode 3. This White Tiger storyline will be wrapped up in episode 3. Wilson Fisk is going to get involved and try and stop this, be on the cop side. Daredevil will be there. He might have to go find some backup in the Punisher, get the Punisher to help him out. I'm not sure where they're going. There's so many different ways they could do with this. I really hope and pray to God that we get at least a little bit of a Spider-Man cameo, even if it's just the last few seconds of episode 9. I really hope that Kingpin ends up being the main villain for Spider-Man 4. I really, really hope that is what we're going to. I hope this show leads straight into Spider-Man 4, because I think Matt Murdock and Charlie Cox deserves to be on the big screen. This Daredevil deserves it. This Wilson Fisk deserves it. And I would love to see a team up between Daredevil and Spider-Man. I was a little bit disappointed in the series so far, but I have heard that it does get better. All the other big critics have already been given all 9 episodes. They've already watched it. A few people that I follow have commented on it and said it does get better. So I'm hoping that it does. What did you guys think? Sound off down in the comment section below. Please give this video a like. And I'll be back next week for a review of Daredevil Born Again episode 3. But until then, guys, be well, stay safe, have yourself a beautiful day. You take care now. Bye bye.